Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi, everyone. We are very happy to see you here today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Daily. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mike. We're happy you're here with us today.
If you enjoy simple English lessons that help you speak more naturally, subscribe to Speak English Daily and keep learning with us. Today, we're going to look at two small words that cause a big problem for many English learners: raise and rise.
These words look very similar, and they both have a connection with something going up, but we do not use them in the same way.
I hear learners make this mistake quite often. Someone might say, prices are raising, or they might say, I raised yesterday.
And those sentences show the main problem. The learner understands the idea of going up, but the verb is not being used correctly.
So, Mike, can we make the difference very simple?
Yes, let's start with one easy rule. Raise means that someone moves something up. Rise means that something goes up by itself.
So, raise usually needs something after it.
That's right. Raise usually has an object. For example, I raise my hand.
I am doing the action, and my hand is the thing that moves up.
Correct. Another example is the company raised prices.
The company did something to the prices. The prices did not raise themselves.
Right. And we can say, she raised her voice.
She changed her voice and made it louder. So again, someone is moving something up or making something higher.
Now, let's look at rise. We use rise when something goes up without a person directly moving it.
For example, prices rise.
Yes, we can also say, the sun rises.
And the temperature rises.
Perfect. In these examples, we are simply describing something going up.
So let me check. I raise something, but something rises.
Yes, that's the easiest memory trick for today's lesson. Right. If you remember that simple idea, you can already avoid many common mistakes.
Let's practice with a few pairs. First, I raise my hand.
And the other sentence is, my hand rises.
What about prices? They raised the price.
Good. Here, they are the people making the price higher.
And the price rose.
Right. Now we are only saying that the price became higher.
One more pair. She raised her voice.
And her voice rose.
So if she makes her voice louder, she raises her voice. If we simply describe the voice becoming higher, we can say her voice rose.
Yes, you can see the same pattern again.
Let me try a mistake. The temperature is raising.
That's a very common mistake. We normally say the temperature is rising.
Because the temperature is going up. Nobody is directly raising it in that sentence.
Correct. But we can say the sun is raising the temperature.
Ah, now there is an object. The sun is doing something to the temperature.
Right. That is why raise works there.
What about this sentence? I raised yesterday.
That sentence needs more information. If you mean you got out of bed, a natural beginner sentence is, I got up yesterday. If you mean something went up, we need to say what happened. Raise needs something that you move or make higher.
And rise can describe something going up, like prices, the sun, or the temperature.
Yes, let's remember a few simple words. Up, move, price, hand, voice, temperature, and sun. These words will help you build easy sentences.
Let me test myself one more time. The company raised prices.
Good.
The prices rose.
Good.
I raised my hand.
Good.
The temperature rose.
Perfect. I think I finally have the basic idea. Raise means someone moves something up, and rise means something goes up by itself.
We'll build on this simple rule as we continue, because once you see it in everyday situations, these two verbs become much easier to use naturally.
Now, let's put that idea into everyday situations because this is where they become easier to use naturally.
Let's start with something almost every student has done, raising a hand in class.
Imagine your teacher asks a question and you know the answer. What do you say?
You say, I raised my hand.
Or the teacher might say, please raise your hand if you know the answer.
We use raise because you are moving your hand upward.
So we don't say, rise your hand.
Right, that's a common mistake. You need raise when telling someone to move the hand. But I can say, my hand rose slowly, can't I?
Yes, that describes what happened to your hand. You're not giving an instruction, you're describing the movement.
So, raise your hand is an instruction, while my hand rose slowly describes the movement.
Exactly.
Let's move to something adults talk about all the time, prices.
This is useful because we often talk about prices going up.
Imagine a store decides to make a product more expensive. We can say, the company raised the price.
Right, the company made the price higher, so the company is doing the action.
But if I'm talking about the result, I can say, the price rose.
Yes, the price became higher.
What about this conversation? Why is this phone so expensive?
You could answer, the company raised the price last month.
And someone else could say, yes, the price rose a lot.
Both sentences describe the same situation, but they focus on different things. One focuses on the company changing the price, the other focuses on the price becoming higher.
In real conversations, we don't always care who caused the change.
Right. Sometimes we just want to describe what happened.
Now let's talk about temperature. This one is easy to imagine on a hot day.
You might say, the temperature rose this afternoon.
That means it became hotter.
But we can also say, the sun raised the temperature.
Now the sun is doing something to the temperature.
Right. The sun caused the temperature to become higher, so raise works there.
Let me make a short conversation. Why is it so hot today?
The temperature rose quickly this morning.
And if I say the strong sunlight raised the temperature, that's also correct.
Yes, notice how raise tells us what caused the change.
Now let's use another situation, someone's voice.
This one is interesting because a voice can change in different ways.
For example, she raised her voice.
That usually means she spoke more loudly, often because she was angry, excited, or trying to be heard.
So if a teacher says, please don't raise your voice, the teacher is asking someone not to speak so loudly.
Right, but we can also say, his voice rose.
That sounds a little different.
It can mean his voice became higher in pitch, especially when he was surprised, excited, or asking a question.
So, she raised her voice means she made it louder, while his voice rose describes the voice becoming higher.
That's the natural difference to notice here.
Let's finish with water, because this gives us another clear pair.
Imagine it has been raining heavily for hours.
We can say, the river rose after the rain.
The water level went up.
But we can also say, heavy rain raised the water level.
Yes, the heavy rain caused the water level to become higher.
So, the river rose, but the rain raised the water level.
That's useful to remember.
And it shows that both verbs can appear in the same situation.
One tells us what went up. The other tells us what caused something to go up.
Classroom, prices, temperature, voices, and water. Different situations, but the same useful pattern.
And now you have several everyday expressions you can start using in your own English today, right now.
Yes, and there is one more thing that can make these verbs confusing. Their forms change in different ways when we talk about the past.
That's true. With raise, things are quite simple because the form is simple.
Let's look at raise first.
In the present, we use raise. For example, I raise my hand when I know the answer.
And for the past, we use raised. I raised my hand yesterday.
Right, the past form is raised.
What about when we use have?
We still use raised. For example, I have raised my hand before.
So raise is simple. Raise, raised, raised.
Yes.
Let me make a little conversation. Do you raise your hand in class?
Yes, I raise my hand when I know the answer.
Did you raise your hand yesterday?
Yes, I raised my hand twice.
Have you raised your hand today?
Yes, I have raised my hand once.
That's easy to follow because the verb only changes from raise to raised.
Now, rise is different. The forms change more. Yes, the present form is rise, the past form is rose, and the past participle is risen.
Rise, rose, risen.
That's the pattern.
Let's use prices.
We can say prices rise every year. If we're talking about last year, we say prices rose last year.
And if I say prices have risen again, I'm talking about a change that has happened up to now.
Correct. Notice that we don't say prices have rose.
We say prices have risen.
Yes, that's a common mistake.
Let me try a conversation. The price is higher now.
Yes, it rose last month.
Who raised the price?
The company raised it. The company raised the price, and the price rose.
The temperature rises during the afternoon.
The temperature rose yesterday.
And the temperature has risen a lot today. So I need to remember that rose is the past form, but risen comes after have, has, or had.
That's a useful beginner rule.
I raise my hand every day.
Present.
I raised my hand yesterday.
Past.
I have raised my hand before.
Perfect.
Now I understand why I rose my hand is wrong. My hand is the thing that rises, but I raise it.
Right. You can say, my hand rose, but you cannot normally say, I rose my hand.
Let's do a quick quiz. Don't answer too quickly. Think about the sentence first.
Question 1. Yesterday, the temperature dash.
Is it raise, raised, rise, or rose?
The answer is rose. We say yesterday the temperature rose. That tells us the temperature became higher yesterday.
Question 2. The company dash the price.
The answer is raised. Someone changed the price, so we use raise. In the past, we say the company raised the price.
Question 3. Please dash your hand.
The answer is raise. It's an instruction, so we say please raise your hand.
Question 4. Prices have dash again.
The answer is risen. We say prices have risen again.
And one more. I dash my hand 5 minutes ago.
The answer is raised. The sentence is about the past, so we say I raised my hand.
Nice, so the forms are not as scary as they first look.
They aren't. Just remember 2 patterns.
Raise, raised, raised.
And rise, rose, risen.
When you are speaking, don't stop and think about grammar for too long. Listen to the meaning and the time. Ask yourself, am I moving something or is something going up?
Then choose the form you need. Practice these small sentences aloud, and the forms will start to feel natural when you speak English regularly, too.
Raise, raised, raised.
Rise, rose, risen. Keep practicing them, and soon you won't have to think so hard before using them.
I can see how these forms work now, but hearing them in real conversations is probably even more helpful.
Definitely. Let's imagine some everyday situations and listen to how people naturally use these verbs.
Let's start at work. Imagine a manager is speaking to the team about next year's plans.
We're going to raise salaries next month.
Then a coworker might say, "That's good news. Salaries haven't risen much recently."
The company raises salaries while salaries rise.
So the manager is talking about an action and the coworker is talking about the result.
Right, the company is making salaries higher.
But if I say salaries are rising, I'm simply describing the change.
Right, that difference becomes much easier when you hear it in a real conversation.
Now let's move from the office to school. Imagine a teacher asks the class a question.
The teacher might say, "Please raise your hand if you know the answer."
And one student could say, "I raised my hand, but you didn't see me."
That's a very natural conversation.
I can imagine that happening in my classroom.
And the student might say, "I raised my hand 5 minutes ago."
True. Now let's go home. Imagine it's a hot afternoon and the room feels uncomfortable.
Anna, you might say, "The temperature is rising."
And Mike might answer, "Should we turn on the fan?"
I would probably say that very quickly.
Here, we're describing the temperature going up. We aren't saying someone raised it.
Right, but imagine the sun is making the room hotter. We could say, "The strong sunlight raised the temperature in the room."
That sounds natural because the sunlight caused the change.
Yes. Now let's go shopping. Imagine you see your favorite shoes in a store, but the price is higher than last week.
I might ask, "Why did the price rise?"
And the shop assistant could say, "The store raised the price last week."
Wait, the two sentences are almost talking about the same event.
They are. Your question focuses on the price becoming higher.
And the answer focuses on the store changing the price.
Right. You don't need a complicated grammar explanation. Just notice who or what is doing the action.
So if the store does it, the store raises the price. If the price becomes higher, the price rises.
Now, let's go to the morning. You can say, "The sun rises in the east."
And we don't say the sun raises in the east.
No, because the sun is going up. We simply describe its movement.
Could we say, "People don't raise the sun, it rises"?
Yes, and that's a funny way to remember it.
Good. I don't think anyone wants that job anyway.
Imagine waking up every morning and being responsible for lifting the sun.
I'd definitely call in sick.
So would I.
Here's something interesting. In these conversations, the words don't feel like grammar anymore.
That's the goal. You're hearing them as normal English.
At work, the company raises salaries and salaries rise. At school, students raise their hands. At home, the temperature rises. In a store, a business can raise a price while the price rises.
And in the morning, the sun rises.
I like that because it connects grammar to things we see daily.
And if you make a small mistake while speaking, don't freeze. Correct yourself and keep talking.
That's important. Good English isn't about stopping every few seconds to check every word.
It's about learning useful patterns and using them again and again.
I think that's what makes these two verbs easier. We don't need to memorize hundreds of sentences.
We just need to notice the pattern in real situations and practice it.
And once you hear raise and rise in everyday conversations, they start sounding very different.
That's when the difference becomes natural, not just something you remember from a lesson.
Let's make this even more practical because sometimes we understand a rule but still make the same mistake when we speak quickly.
That's completely normal. So let's play a common mistake challenge. I'll give you a sentence and you can decide if it sounds right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Mistake number 1. Prices are raising.
But we normally say prices are rising.
Right. The prices are going up. They are not doing the action to something else.
But if we say the company is raising prices, that's correct.
The company is doing something to the prices.
Let's try mistake number 2. I rose my hand.
That's not correct. We say I raised my hand.
Because I am moving my hand up.
Yes, you raise your hand, but your hand can rise.
Mistake number 3. The temperature is raising.
Again, we normally say the temperature is rising.
And if something causes the temperature to go higher, we can use raise.
Right. For example, the hot weather raised the temperature in the room.
Okay, here's mistake number 4. The company rose the price.
We say the company raised the price.
Because the company changed the price.
Yes, the price itself can rise, but the company raises it.
Now, one more mistake. I have raised early.
This one is a little different. If you mean you got out of bed early, the most natural beginner sentence is, I got up early.
Can we say I have risen early?
Yes, but it sounds more formal or less common in everyday beginner conversation. Most people would simply say, I got up early.
So rise can mean getting up, but for everyday English, get up is usually easier and more natural.
That's right. You don't need to force rise into every sentence.
Learning English isn't about using the more difficult word. It's about choosing the natural word for the situation.
Exactly. Now let's build a small phrase pack. These are expressions worth remembering as complete phrases.
With raise, we can say raise your hand,
Raise your voice.
raise a question,
Raise the price.
and raise money.
With rise, we can say prices rise.
Temperatures rise.
The sun rises.
The water rises.
We can also say rise quickly and rise slowly.
These are useful as complete phrases because you don't have to build every sentence from zero.
That's the idea. When you hear raise your hand many times, it becomes one natural expression in your mind.
Let's test that now. This time, listen carefully and choose the correct form. Raise, raised, rise, rose, or risen.
Question 1. Please blank your hand if you know the answer.
Think for a second.
The answer is raise.
Question 2. The price, blank, last week.
The answer is rose.
Question 3. The company has blank the price again.
The answer is raised. We use the form raised after has.
Question 4. Temperatures usually blank in summer.
The answer is rise. We're talking about something that normally happens, so we use the present form.
Question 5. The water has blank after the heavy rain.
The answer is risen. We say the water has risen.
And our last question. The manager blank salaries last year.
The answer is raised. The manager did the action in the past.
And if you missed some, that's fine. Go back to the simple pattern. Someone raises something, but something rises.
Then listen for the time. Present, rise or raise. Past, rose or raised. After have or has, risen or raised.
That's enough to help you use these verbs with much more confidence.
And the more you hear phrases like prices rise, raise your hand, and the company raised prices, the faster your brain will recognize the right form in real conversations.
That is the goal. When you need the verb, the form should come naturally without stopping to translate in your head.
You're not just memorizing grammar now, you're building useful English patterns that you can actually use.
And with this, I think we're ready to put everything into one natural conversation. Imagine we're watching the evening news and the topic is something everyone notices, rising prices.
The presenter might say, prices are rising again this month.
Then the report might explain, the company raised prices because its costs have risen.
That gives us a useful combination. The company raised prices, its costs have risen.
Then the report continues, the company also raised salaries, but some workers say salaries haven't risen enough.
And the workers might say, we're raising concerns about the rising cost of living.
Raise concerns is a useful phrase. It means to talk about something that worries you or seems like a problem.
Notice how the meaning stays clear even when the situation changes.
At work, we talk about salaries and costs. At home, we talk about temperature. With friends, we might talk about a voice.
Different situations, same pattern.
That's why practicing with real examples is better than memorizing a grammar rule.
That's what we want. Now let's imagine the news is over and we're sitting at home.
I suddenly notice that the room feels warm.
You might say, the temperature is rising.
And you might answer, yes, it's getting hot. Should we turn on the fan?
Then I turn on the fan and we continue talking.
Someone asks a question. I know the answer, so I raise my hand.
Even though we're not in a classroom?
Maybe we're joking and pretending we're students again.
Fair enough. Then one friend starts speaking very loudly.
We could say, he's raising his voice.
And if his voice becomes higher in pitch, we could say his voice rose.
See, the words are becoming easier because we're connecting them to real situations.
Now let's bring everything back to one simple rule.
I'm listening.
If someone moves something up, use raise. If something goes up, use rise.
Let me test it. I raise my hand.
Good.
My hand rises.
Good.
The company raises prices.
Right.
Prices rise.
Perfect.
The company raised salaries.
And salaries rose.
The rain raised the water level.
And the water level rose.
I think those pairs are easy to remember because we can see the action in our minds.
Exactly. Now let's have one final rapid-fire quiz. Try to answer each question before I give you the answer.
Number 1. The company blank its prices last month.
Raised.
Number 2. Prices have blank again.
Risen.
Number 3. Please blank your hand.
Raise.
Number 4. The temperature blank yesterday.
Rose.
Number 5. The sun blank every morning.
Rises.
Great! Now it's your turn. Make one sentence with raise. You can talk about a hand, a voice, a price, money, or something else.
Next, make one sentence with rise. You can talk about prices, temperature, water, the sun, or another thing that goes up.
Then make a sentence using raised. Think about something someone made higher in the past.
Finally, make a sentence using rose. Think about something that became higher in the past.
Say all 4 sentences out loud. They don't need to be difficult. Simple sentences are perfect when you're learning a new verb.
First, speak slowly and make sure the sentence is clear. Then say it again at a normal speaking speed.
This kind of practice helps you move from understanding English to actually using it.
And we'd love to see your practice in the comments. Write one sentence with raise and one sentence with rise.
You can also read other learners' sentences and check whether they chose the right verb.
If this lesson helped you understand this common English mistake, subscribe to Speak English Daily for more practical English lessons and real conversations.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember the simple rule. Someone raises something, but something rises.
Once you remember that, raise and rise become much easier to use naturally.
Thanks for learning with us today. Keep using English every day.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.